What's up, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. Today we're going to be talking about Eldritch Moon red cards. I was looking through red cards and I was really impressed. I think it's one of the strongest colors in the set, and I'm really excited. So we're going to be talking about a couple of cards from that. If you want to see other Eldritch Moon videos, if you guys are prepping for the pre-release, I know something I always kind of like to do is I always like to watch a bunch of videos and stuff to get myself prepped for the pre-release. It's kind of a fun thing that I like to do, so yeah, let's talk about red cards. So the first card I want to talk to you guys about is Incendiary Flow. Really, I think exile is a super important thing in this set because there's so many ways of getting things back from the graveyard. So I think a card like this where you can not only lightning bolt their face, or you can lightning bolt a creature, and then if it dies, it just goes into exile, I think is really strong. I think this card, it would have been better at sorcery speed, but I do think, better at instant speed, but I do think that's a really solid card. And if not, even if you're not going for creatures, if they don't have any creatures on board, or they don't have any like creatures that are toughness 3 or less, just lightning bolting their face is still really good. So I like this card. Then we have Deranged Welp, and this card is nothing super fancy, but I like it because it's a small little dude and you get it out on like turn 2 or whatever, or you top deck at late game, and it's just a 2/1 with Menace. It's got a really awesome evasion. I'm a huge fan of Menace. I think that it's a really cool mechanic, and it's a lot of times I feel like the bigger creatures have Menace, but it's kind of nice when the smaller creature does. You know, I don't know. I like it. It's just like, it's a nice like creature. I like it. Okay, then we have Stormkirk Occultist, and this card is really interesting. It kind of reminds me of, what is that card? It's the red Outpost Siege, but it's like sticked on a creature. So first off, it's got Madness for 2, which is really nuts. So if you Madness it, which there's so much discard outlet in the set, you could casually just get a 3/2 with Trample. Sounds sweet to me, I like it. If not, you just hardcast it and it's 3/2 with Trample. I already like it. On top of that, you get card advantage. So you get to, you know, exile the top card and then you can just play that card, which I think is super good. It's really awesome card advantage, and I think that this is a really good like late game like type of card. I don't think it works in all decks, but I do think that it's a really good card and I like it a lot. Okay, then we have Nahiri's Wrath, and I really like the amount of like I said, there's a lot of discard outlets, and what I really like about this card is you not only get to discard things and get things into your graveyard, which is really good, so it helps trigger like Delirium, you know, you have like Madness, things like that. Not only on top of that, you get to do damage to creatures or planeswalkers. And the planeswalkers part may not be super relevant, but if you're playing like game 2 or 3 and you know your opponent has like a planeswalker and you're like, I don't really have that many creatures, I'm having a tough time like dealing with that, this is a really good card to do that with. Whoa, it's the total converted mana cost? Whoa, this card's nuts. This card's really cool. I like it a lot. And you know what, like I said, I think that it works really well for getting rid of cards and just getting Delirium off and Madness. Oh my gosh, this card's sweet. Okay, then we have Assembled Alphas. So casually this card's a 6 mana 5/5. I like it. And then when it blocks or becomes blocked, it deals 3 damage to that creature. Sweet, I like it. But then it's a lightning bolt on top of that. So it deals 3 damage to that creature's controller. This card is absolutely nuts. Like, oh my gosh, this card is a super good red bomb. I think it's really awesome. I like it a lot. I think if it had like some other ability, like I feel like it should have like, I don't know, maybe like First Strike or something. I feel like that's Magical Christmas Light and that's asking for too much, but overall I think that card is like super good. Okay, then we have Collective Defiance. And first off, I think this is one of the best Escalate cards that I've seen. I really like that it's only Escalate for 1 mana. So first off, you get to discard your cards and draw that many cards. This is super good. I actually really like that it says target player, so if you like, I'm trying to think of something in the set where it's like they keep getting cards back and you would like know if they had what cards they had in their hand. I feel like there's cards that have that, but I'm not thinking of it right now. But anyways, if you like know that they have certain cards in their hand or whatever and you like want to make them discard them, I think that's really cool. But if not, you just do it for yourself and then you just get to draw that many cards, which is really, really awesome. Really good with Madness, really good with Delirium. I think this is really good. Then it's basically 4 damage to target creatures, so they just, a lot of times it just kills their creature. Or you just get to deal 3 damage to your opponent, lightning bolt them. Overall, I think this card is really nuts. I think it's one of the best escalate cards in my opinion. I think it's super good. Okay, then we have Hanweir Garrison. And regardless if you have the other meld card, this card is nuts. So casually, it's 3 mana for a 2/3. I like it already. And then whenever it attacks, not even when it does damage, whenever it attacks, you just get you get 2 1/1s. What? This card is nuts. This card is like one of the best, I think one of the best cards in the set. I think it's just nuts. And then if you do get the other rare, that's also just really sweet, the Hanweir, the Writhing Township, which is amazing. But honestly, I don't even think that matters because on its own, I think this card is just absolutely nuts. If you get like both of them, it's like brownie points, but if not, I think it's fine. Okay. Then we have Furyblade Vampire. Okay, I am a huge fan of this card. So first off, it's a 2 mana 1/2, and then it's got trample. You know, like, okay. But then you get, at the beginning of combat, you don't have to, you can discard a card. And then if you do, it casually just gets +3/+0. This card is absolutely nuts. This is insane. I'm so excited for red. I'm really, really excited. So basically you just get to discard a card, and then you get Delirium, you get Madness, whatever, and then you give it, like, so it just becomes, like, a 4/2 for 2 mana. What? This card is nuts. I'm so excited for it. It's so sweet. Alright, I appreciate this card because it has Savage in the title. Then we have Savage Alliance. So, again, we talk about escalate cards. So, something just gets trample. There's a lot of things that give trample in the set. I'm very wary about playing against things because I'm of like combat tricks. You get to do 2 damage to something, potentially kill something, or you'll deal 1 damage to each creature target player controls. This is really, the last ability I think is super important because they're like, remember that card that we just talked about, Hanweir Battle, whatever that card was. And they make 1/1s. This card is really good for that reason because it deals 1 damage. There's a lot of things that can have like 1 toughness that you just really like want to kill. There's a lot of things that make like tokens and stuff like that. And not even just in this, but in Shadows over Innistrad too, because if you are going to be doing pre-release events or even draft events, you are going to be getting packs of those. So you want to make sure that you have a way of dealing with a lot of like those smaller creatures. And I think this is a good way of dealing with that. So overall, I think this card is really good, really versatile, which is a reason why I'm a huge fan of cards that have options. I think those are some of like the best cards in Magic. I've said that before. So yeah. Then we have Brazen Wolves. So first off, it's just a 3 mana 2/3. Whenever it attacks, it just becomes a 4/3 for 3 mana. Yeah, this card doesn't do anything super fancy or anything, but it's a common, and I think it's a really, really good common, so I'm really excited for it. I think it's sweet. Then we have Thermo-Alchemist. So the more and more I see that Izzet colored deck kind of coming together, that instance and sorcery deck, and what I like about the red piece of it is that the blue kind of like stalls, but the red kind of has like burn spells and things. So you know what? It's a 2 mana 0/3 and it's got Defender. I like it already. And then on top of that, you just get to ping something. You get to do damage to your opponent. So they're on a whatever turn clock. And then whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, you get to untap it. So what this is really good for is, you know, if your opponent goes to attack with things and they're like, attack with my 2/1 or whatever, and they're like, you got no blockers, so like instant speed, do damage to you or do damage to your other creature and then block your 2/1 or something like that. So overall, I think this card is like really good. I really like it. I think that it's a really good common. I like it. Okay, and then the last card we're going to talk about is Vilden-Pack Outcast, which transforms wait, is it transforms or does it meld? It transforms into Dronepack Kindered. So it's 5 mana for a 4/4 with trample. Beautiful, awesome, I like it already. On top of that, it's got this really awesome ability where you can give it extra power by taking away its toughness. This can be like a both good and bad thing. But if you're like, oh, in response to declaring no blockers or something, it makes like blocking for your opponent like really tricky because they're like, how much can I afford to, you know, block with or whatever. It has a very large transform cost for it. But to be honest, I think if you're in like that mid-range late game and you don't really have anything to do, this is a really good like late game card, and it's like a common, so I think it's a really good, like some of these red commons I think are just nuts. I think they're amazing. Super good like draft cards. And then once you transform it, what I like about it is that it doesn't transform back. So like there's no way to like, you know, it's not one of the werewolves where it comes back, which I really like. So it becomes a 5/7 with trample, and then you can buff it basically as many times as you want, and it just gets +1/+0. This card overall is just absolutely nuts. I think one of the best commons in the set. I really, really like it. Okay guys, that's it. That's it for red cards for for Eldritch Moon. Really stoked for this. I think red is, I think white is by far, I think, the best color, but I haven't even done green. I haven't really looked in depth in green, so we'll see about that. But I'm really, really stoked for red cards. I think they're really good. So that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.